Courage the Cowardly Dog Show is one of the most interesting shows to talk about. Now, I've made several different videos talking about the show, and I decided, why not make another one?
This is Earth Radio, and now here's human music.
Now, I wasn't going to make a Courage the Cowardly Dog video for a while, but I got a comment from a viewer to ask me to do my top 10 favorite Courage the Cowardly Dog villains. And of course, I just had to do that. My last video was made in October, and that one has villains in it. And I actually discussed one of the 3 villains on this top 10. So if you haven't seen that video, I would recommend watching it before you see this one. Also, I'm not going to be adding the Great Fusili to this list because I've already talked about him in 2 different videos, and I don't want to talk about him again because I feel like I'll just be repeating myself. But if he was to be on this top 10, then he would definitely be in the top 3 for sure. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's start this top 10 list.
Hello, me. Oh, don't I look fine? I'm so beautiful.
This list is going to have some villains that you might not expect, and this first entry is one of them. This is one of the episodes that I remember watching as a kid and actually really enjoying this villain. Big Bayou has this charm to him that makes him really feel and look like a villain. This villain is one that doesn't really want to hurt the Bags family. He's a tyrant that rules over his subjects. He makes them make statues of his shredded skin, and he gets payback for his actions by getting chased by his own statues. I always enjoyed watching this villain because he was threatening and had very interesting movements, as well as a cool voice. And the episode he is in is actually pretty entertaining and is intense to me. Plus, I really love snakes.
Huh? Little rabbit, where did you go? Must be a bad carrot.
Weremole is one of those villains that isn't a monster that Courage has to deal with for the whole episode. It's a villain that uses other people to attack its targets. The Weremole starts the problems but doesn't finish them, which I find to be a very interesting concept. I really enjoy the mind control episodes when they're done right. Plus, the Weremole has a menacing design to it that I love. This villain doesn't have an intention for doing this, it just kinda happens. And the episode that it's in is amazing in both humor and horror, which is hard to pull off. The Weremole is a creative villain from the show that everyone remembers, and the Weremole helps to create one of the best scenes from the show.
I'm a Weevil, actually. A Jeeves Weevil.
I've never heard of a Jeeves Weevil.
Commonly known as the butler bug, madam. We live to serve.
Ah yes, a blood-sucking mosquito has flown its way on this list. Okay, I'm sorry for the pun, but I just don't get that many chances to make a horrible pun like that. Anyway, this show never ceases to amaze me with some of its crazy concepts. I never thought a mosquito could be cool and interesting until I saw this episode. Jeeves takes blood from Eustace and Muriel and makes them paper thin, which creates some disturbing imagery. I think that Jeeves Weevil has an odd design that I didn't really like at first, but throughout the episode it started to grow on me. I really like how he's trying to look fancy and elegant when he's just a mosquito. Jeeves Weevil is on this list because he's so sly when he's evil. Like, he seems good, but really he has malintentions and no one notices it except for Courage. I mean, I know that's how it is for most of the villains, that only Courage notices it, but he's just really sly in this episode and I love it.
Welcome to the Cat's Motel. I'm Katz. Will you please sign in?
I'm surprised that I haven't talked about Cats at all. He has had vengeance on Courage ever since he saved Eustace and Muriel in the first episode of the show. He has been in several episodes coming up with ways to get his revenge on the Bags family. I think that Cats has one of my favorite voices on the show. He just has the perfect villain voice. And he's a cat, which is cool because it creates this contrast to Courage. Cats is arguably the most memorable villain on the show and has been around since the first episode. I know I probably should put him higher on the list, but I just didn't enjoy him as much as I enjoyed some of the other villains on this show.
We go live on all the networks, everywhere, and turn everyone into fanatics. Then I will be the king of FLAN.
FLAN. This is the first villain on the list that doesn't ever actually want to harm the Bags family. He just wants money, and he does this by hypnotizing people to buy his products through commercial ads. Shows have done ideas similar to this, but the way Courage does it is downright creepy. His voice alone makes his villain get the number 6 spot. The reason why he gets the number 6 spot is because he's a different type of villain that the show normally doesn't have, and he's a normal person. He's not a monster like the previous villains that have been on this list so far. I believe that he's supposed to represent a greedy businessman who cheats to get his money. I just think that this villain has a lot going for it, and I love how he gets hypnotized by his own ad, which is perfect justice.
I have a bad feeling about this. Well, my name is Ivana, and it's not.
This villain comes from one of the most famous episodes from the series. The demon in the mattress is a spoof of The Exorcist. The episode has Muriel getting possessed by a demon in a mattress. I like the villain from this episode because it's similar to the Weremole villain. It has a great balance of humor and horror. The horror scenes from this episode are done a lot better than they are in the Weremole episode. Like the scene where Muriel tries to talk to Courage, but then gets silenced by the demon. This was a chilling scene, and I think it was done really well. And the scene where Muriel asks Courage to bring her some more tea is very well done. It has a lot of suspense and ends up just becoming a joke scene, which is perfect because the viewer's still scared while watching this, but they burst out in laughter whenever she asks for more tea. You think it's supposed to be a scary scene, but really it turns out to be a joke scene. The villain itself is really great because you wouldn't think that a mattress could be scary, but the show proves that wrong. This is a very well done representation of The Exorcist.
You are a disgrace. What's wrong, Courage? I don't see anything.
The villain from this episode is not a real villain. It's a figment of Courage's imagination. He makes his teacher to try to teach him how to be perfect because he feels like he is imperfect and he wants to fix that. This teacher mentally breaks down Courage throughout the episode, and it's really sad to watch. I think that this villain is really creative to watch because it shows that sometimes we can be our own villains. Courage is the one who feels like he's not perfect. His mind makes his teacher to try to make him perfect, but she's actually doing the opposite. I also think the scene where Courage overcomes his problem of wanting to be perfect is one of the best scenes in the whole show. The Perfectionist is a great representation for someone trying too hard to be something that they're not and breaking themselves down because of it.
I'm Benton Tarantella. Benton Tarantella? The famous independent movie director?
This villain is on the list because he looks intimidating and he has one of the most messed up plots in the show. Benton wants to bring his brother back from the dead, and the only way that he can do this is by sacrificing Muriel. Benton was one of those villains that really stuck out to me as a kid because he looked like he was actually genuinely evil. A lot of the villains from the show look like they're villains, but not a lot of them have an evil presence with them that make me feel uneasy. I felt uneasy watching this villain make a movie to pretty much kill Muriel to bring his brother back to life. This villain is one of the most evil villains on the show in my opinion. Everything he does was for himself, and he didn't care about how it affected others.
I take you from a two-bit joint and make you a class act. And you want to make me second rate? If I even smell Kitty, I'll bury the two of you.
Of course, I had to add Mad Dog to his list. He's such a classic villain. Now, I've talked about him in great detail on another video, so I'm going to play some clips from that video to show my opinions on Mad Dog. Mad Dog is the most shocking villain on the show in my opinion and in many others' opinions. The episode as a whole is pretty controversial. I'm surprised that the show was able to get away with some of the things that happened in this episode. For those people who don't know what I'm talking about or haven't seen the episode, let me tell you exactly what's going on and who Mad Dog is. The episode has Mad Dog, a pimp and crime lord, steal Bunny away from her best friend Kitty and makes her into a prostitute. I don't know why, but when I read that, I was just really happy. Not because of what's happening, but the fact that a kid's cartoon show got away with that. That's awesome in my opinion. Anyway, Mad Dog also threatens to kill Bunny and Kitty if they see each other again. This causes Kitty to hate all dogs and to think that they are all evil. This is some really deep topics for a kid's show. Anyway, now that you know about the episode, let me talk about Mad Dog. This villain is the one that stands out to me the most because he is one of the villains that was so real compared to the other villains on the show.
I know just what to do with the dog, but I'd like to have a moment with him alone.
Of course, Doctor.
It was a hard choice for what villain I was going to put as the number one spot, because these top 3 villains are really great villains in their own ways. This villain is different from any of the other villains on this list, however. He is a doctor that was doing an experiment to send dogs to the moon. He sent a lot of dogs to the moon, including Courage's parents, and he almost sent Muriel and Eustace to the moon. This is one of the worst types of villains because his plan is to separate Courage from his family, and he's doing this for his own benefit. He does get the greatest comeuppance possible. He gets sent to the moon and then gets beat up by all his dogs that he sent up there. This villain has a mix of all the qualities of a good Courage villain. He has an intimidating presence like BENTON does, he's greedy like King of FLAN, he's a realistic villain like Mad Dog is, and he has a great appearance. I'll never forget this episode because it was, in my opinion, the best episode from the show. I have talked about Courage the Cowardly Dog quite a bit on this channel, and I always love to talk about it because it's such a deep show for a kid's show. It has so many messages behind it, has so many great villains and classic episodes. This is a one-of-a-kind show, and I would love to see another show that's similar to it in the future. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about Courage the Cowardly Dog for now. Don't worry, I will be talking about the show again in the future, but I'm going to take a little break from it for the time being. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it, and let me know in the comments what you thought of the video. Also, if there's any videos you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys are really enjoying Top 10 Mania because it's a lot of fun for me to do this. And I think you guys are really gonna like the last Top 10 I have in store for you guys. It'll be coming out, of course, next Friday. Also, next month, I'm gonna be doing something special for Valentine's Day. It's gonna be really cool. I think you guys are gonna like it, and I've never done it before, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Also, Know Your Bosses is coming back next month. So get ready to see the first episode of Know Your Bosses in 2 years. I know, it's been quite some time, but it's coming. Anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to watch more of my videos because I'm going to keep making them. See you guys later.